You know that feeling, don't you? That little knot in your stomach when you walk into a room full of people you don't know, or maybe when a big conversation's coming up. We all kind of know that good communication, strong relationships, that's key to success, right? Getting a deal done, making a friend, just feeling comfortable, but actually doing it, making that good impression, keeping things flowing, connecting. Sometimes it just feels like, well, like trying to solve a puzzle, awkward even. So today's deep dive, we're making it easier. We're diving into Leil Lowndes' fantastic guide, How to Talk to Anyone, 92 Little Tricks for Big Success in Relationships. And this isn't just theory. It's packed with really practical, almost sneaky strategies you can use right away.
Exactly. Our mission here is really to pull out the best, the most potent techniques from Lowndes' list. Think of it like getting a bit of a shortcut, boosting your confidence, your influence, pretty much anywhere. Networking things, coffee chats, even just on the phone. We're going to explore how to make people feel genuinely seen, heard, really valued, so you can turn those everyday chats into, well, real connections.
Okay, let's really get into this then. Forget maybe what you've heard before about just, small talk or winning friends.
Yeah.
This deep dive is going to give you some surprising, maybe even counterintuitive ways to connect with basically anyone. So first up, making that lasting first impression. Those first few seconds are critical, right? And a lot of it happens before you even say anything. It's all about projecting confidence, warmth, interest, non-verbally. Technique number one Lowndes talks about is the flooding smile. Now, usually we meet someone, we flash a quick smile, right? Automatic. Lionel says, hang on, don't do it instantly. Pause. Just for a split second, look at the person, really see them, and then let a big, warm smile spread across your face. Make sure it reaches your eyes.
Yeah, and that little delay, that's the magic bit. An instant smile can feel, well, a bit fake sometimes, like a reflex. But when you pause, it feels like the smile is specifically for them, like you process them and then reacted genuinely. It makes it feel sincere, personal, not just some plastic grin you give everyone. It says, hey, you made me smile.
That makes so much sense. It's about showing really specific warmth.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got the smile. What about keeping that connection going strong? That brings us to sticky eyes.
Now, sticky eyes sounds a little intense, maybe. How do you do that without just, staring awkwardly?
Right, it's not about a creepy stare. Definitely not. It's more like imagine your eyes are gently glued to theirs, softly. You hold their gaze while they're talking, sure, but also for a beat or two after they finish. Then you slowly, almost like you're reluctant to break contact, let your gaze drift away. Kind of stretching that connection. The research Lowndes mentions is pretty clear on this. People feel more respected, more fond of people who maintain that kind of contact. It signals, I'm totally focused on you. You have my full attention. It taps into that basic human need to feel seen.
Okay, so it's about making them feel like the absolute center of your attention in that moment, not just someone you're glancing at. And she mentions other nonverbal things too, right? The big baby pivot and limit the fidget. Those sound kind of fun. They're great visuals. The big baby pivot. Think how you turn your whole body towards a baby or a cute puppy you adore. Total focus. Lowndes says do that with people you talk to. Give them that 100% body attention. It shouts, you are important right now. And limit the fidget. That's about all those little nervous things we do, right? Tapping fingers, adjusting clothes, shifting around. Those things can signal anxiety or lack of confidence, maybe even boredom. So cutting down on the fidgeting, it makes you look calmer, more credible, more self-assured, like you're fully present.
Right, those little things add up to project a certain presence.
Okay.
Okay, so you've made a good silent impression. Now what? How do you actually start talking and keep that conversation alive in a way that makes people want to talk to you? This brings us to make a mood match. Lowndes says before you speak, kind of take a quick voice sample of the other person and a psychic photograph of their expression. What does that mean exactly? You match their energy, calm, upbeat, whatever, before you try to shift it.
Exactly. Think about it. It's kind of draining talking to someone who's bouncing off the walls when you're feeling quiet, or vice versa, right? So you first tune into their frequency. Match their tempo, their tone, their energy level. It builds instant rapport, makes them feel understood subconsciously, like a parent mimicking a baby's cry before soothing it. You connect first. Then, once you've connected, you can gently lead the energy if you want to. It puts people at ease. That's the key to good small talk, making people comfortable.
Huh. My instinct would be to just be myself, bring my own energy, but matching first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that builds a bridge. Okay, and for those moments where you're thinking, how do I even start talking to these people? She has, always wear what's it. A what's it? What on earth is that?
Yeah, a what's it is just something unusual you wear or carry. A unique pin, a weird necklace, maybe brightly colored scarf, an interesting book cover. The genius is it's an instant, easy icebreaker. It gives people a super low-stakes reason to come up and talk to you. Oh, excuse me, that's an interesting... What is that? Takes the pressure off them having to invent an opening line. It's like a built-in conversation starter.
Ah, okay. So if I wear my ridiculous flamingo earrings, I'm basically sending out a signal. Love it. And speaking of making conversation easier, never the naked city and never the naked Job. We all get asked, where are you from? What do you do? How do I make those answers less boring?
Yeah, those questions can be real conversation killers if you just give a one-word answer right. Boston. End of story. Lowndes says, don't give the naked answer. Offer something extra. A little delicious fact, she calls it. So not just Chicago, but Chicago. You know, the city where they dye the river green every St. Patrick's Day. Or instead of I'm an accountant, maybe I help creative freelancers figure out their taxes so they can sleep at night. See? You're giving them something to grab onto, some bait for the conversation. It makes it easy for them to ask follow-up questions, makes them feel like a good conversationalist. It's generous, really.
That's smart. You're teeing them up for success. Okay, so we've covered first impressions, starting conversations. Now, how do we communicate with more impact, like some people really listen to? So technique number 6, don't open with, what do you do? But that's like the standard question, especially networking. Why avoid it? What's better?
It is standard, but it can feel really limiting, sometimes even judgmental, you know? It pegs someone to their job title. What if they hate their job? Or they're between jobs? Or their real passion is something totally different. It can feel like a status check. Lowndes suggests broader questions like, how do you spend most of your time? Or what's keeping you busy these days? These open the door for people to talk about what actually excites them. Hobbies, projects, family, anything. You're basically saying, I'm interested in you, the whole person, not just your job. It feels more human, less like an interview. As Lowndes puts it, the big cats, the really successful people, rarely ask that directly.
Ah, I see. It opens up the conversation so much more, allows for more genuine sharing. And then there's communication, technique 28. Such a simple idea. Start sentences with you when you can. Why is that so powerful?
It taps into something really fundamental. We're all most interested in ourselves. It's just how our brains work. When you start a sentence with you, it instantly grabs the listener's attention. It makes whatever you're saying directly relevant to them. Lowndes calls it pushing their pride button. So instead of, this is an important point, try, you'll find this point really helpful because, or not just, that's interesting, but you've raised a really fascinating point there. It's like adding a little spice that makes them feel seen and engaged. It pulls their focus right in.
Making them the star of the sentence.
Yes.
Simple, but yeah, very effective. And just quickly, she also mentions your personal thesaurus and the exclusive smile. What's the gist there?
Right. Your personal thesaurus is just about consciously trying to use slightly more interesting, precise words instead of the same old cliches. It makes you sound smarter, more articulate, more memorable, not using huge words, just better words. And the exclusive smile is neat. Instead of a general smile for a whole group, you save your biggest, warmest smile for one specific person at a time in that group. When someone gets that focused smile just for them, it makes them feel incredibly special, singled out in a good way, creates a little jolt of connection. Both are about being more intentional.
Okay, intentionality. Got it. Now, what about those times you feel like an outsider, like you're in a conversation, maybe about cars or art or something, and you know nothing? How do you blend in, build that rapport, even when you're out of your element? Technique 8 is scramble therapy. Lowndes suggests scrambling your life once a month. What does that actually involve? And how does, like, going to a weird lecture help you talk to people?
Scramble therapy is great. It's about deliberately stepping outside your comfort zone regularly. Go to that lecture on, I don't know, quantum physics. Visit a dog show if you're a cat person. Read a magazine about farming. The key thing is, you don't need to become an expert. Lowndes says just one exposure gives you like 80% of the basic lingo and the right kinds of questions to ask. So you gain just enough knowledge to ask intelligent questions, show genuine curiosity. You can nod along, use a term or two correctly. It stops you from feeling totally lost and allows you to connect with way more people on their topics. It shows you're versatile.
Okay, so it's not about faking expertise, just having enough familiarity to engage respectfully. Clever. And then mirror their vibes and body language. Technique 44. This sounds like it could get awkward fast if you're just copying someone. How do you do it subtly?
Subtlety is everything here. It's absolutely not about mimicking like a parrot. That would be weird. It's about subconsciously tuning in. gently matching things like how fast they talk, their posture, are they leaning in or relaxed, maybe their hand gestures, even their breathing rhythm. It taps into something called the chameleon effect. When people subconsciously see aspects of themselves reflected back, it creates this feeling of familiarity, of safety, of rapport. It sends a signal like, hey, we're similar, we're on the same wavelength. Makes them feel instantly more comfortable and trusting. It's like a nonverbal way of saying, I get you.
Right. So if they're talking really formally, using very precise movements, maybe I dial back my usual big sweeping gestures a bit, find that shared rhythm. Okay,
So,
let's talk about compliments. They can be amazing, but sometimes they fall flat or feel, like you're just trying to butter someone up. How do you give praise that really lands? Technique 10 is grapevine glory. This is interesting. Instead of praising someone directly or promoting yourself, you sort of plant positive stories for others to repeat. Or let your praise be overheard.
exactly. The psychology here is super interesting. We're naturally skeptical of direct self-praise, right? Sounds like bragging. And even direct compliments, sometimes the person wonders, okay, what do they want? But when good news about you or your praise for someone else comes through a third party, or if they just happen to overhear you saying something nice about them to someone else, boom, credibility goes way up. Like Lowndes says, a compliment one hears is never as exciting as the one he overhears. It bypasses their defenses. It feels way more genuine, more impactful, because there's no hint of trying to flatter them directly.
Just like getting praise with social proof attached. Very smart. And building on that, the killer compliment. Technique 55. This involves finding one specific, unique, positive quality and delivering it right at the end of the conversation, using their name.
Yes, this one is powerful because it cuts through the usual generic stuff. Nice shoes, good presentation, fine, but forgettable. A killer compliment shows you really notice something specific and personal about them. Maybe you have such a calming presence, or I really admire your honesty, or you have a remarkable way of making complex things sound simple. You find that one unique thing. Then, right as you're parting ways, you look them in the eye, say their name's Sarah, and deliver that specific compliment. Doing it at the end makes it stick. It makes them feel truly seen and appreciated for something real about them. Leaves a deep impression.
Wow, that feels like a way to make someone feel genuinely understood,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of leads perfectly into maybe the deepest technique in the book, the tombstone game. Technique 59. Sounds intense.
It is intense and definitely one for people you really care about, not casual acquaintances. The idea is you find a quiet moment, maybe, and ask someone important in your life, if you could have anything written on your tombstone, what would you want it to say? Basically, how do they want to be remembered? What's their core value or legacy? You listen carefully, remember those words, and then you don't mention it again until later, maybe months later, during a heartfelt moment expressing love, appreciation. You use those exact words back to them. You tell them, you know, what I truly admire about you is that you are insert their tombstone words.
Mhm.
It apparently takes people's breath away because you're reflecting their deepest self-image, their ultimate aspiration back to them. It makes them feel profoundly understood and loved for who they truly are. Like, wow, someone finally gets me at that level.
Wow. Okay, that's incredibly personal and powerful. Deep stuff. All right, shifting gears a bit. What about when you lose half your communication tools? Like on the phone, no body language, no smiles they can see. And how do you handle those little awkward social moments gracefully? Technique 13. Talking gestures. So on the phone, you need to translate your physical expressions into words. Exaggerate your tone. How does that work in practice?
Yeah, without the visuals, your voice has to do all the heavy lifting, right? Otherwise, you can sound flat or uninterested. Talking gestures means consciously putting more animation into your voice. So instead of just, okay, you might say, oh, wow, that sounds fantastic, with real energy. Or instead of a flat, I understand, maybe, I really hear you on that, that sounds tough. You actually smile when you talk. They can often hear a smile in your voice. Use expressive words, even gesture physically while you're talking, because that energy often comes through vocally. It just makes you sound more present, more human, more engaged.
That makes sense. Got to inject the personality back in when they can't see it. Super practical. And then see no bloopers, hear no bloopers. Technique 78. So if someone sneezes mid-sentence or spills their coffee, just ignore it. Don't even say, bless you.
Pretty much, yeah. It feels counterintuitive because we want to be polite, right?
Yep.
But think about it, even a well-meaning bless you or oh, don't worry about the spill draws attention to their little slip-up. It highlights the moment they weren't perfectly polished. People generally hate being reminded of those minor blunders. Lowndes says, just carry on the conversation as if nothing happened. By ignoring it, you give them the gift of pretending it didn't happen. You let them maintain that pleasurable myth of being smooth and flawless. It preserves their dignity, makes them feel more comfortable around you. It's subtle social grace.
Okay, save them the slight embarrassment. Got it. So we've covered all these specific tricks. What's the bigger picture here? Lyons talks about this kind of unspoken social accounting system, the great scorecard in the sky.
Ah, yes. Technique 92, the final one. This is a really fascinating concept for understanding relationship dynamics long term. Imagine there's this invisible scorecard floating above any two people interacting. And the score is constantly shifting based on who's giving, who's receiving, who's benefiting more in that moment or over time. People with a lower score, maybe they've received more favors, more help, tend to naturally defer a bit to those with higher score. And the big winners, as Lowndes calls them, the really successful connectors, they're almost instinctively aware of this. They're keeping a mental tally, not in a stingy way, but asking, who's benefited here? How can I add value? How can I help even the score, or better yet, build up the other person's score? It's about consciously managing reciprocity and goodwill over the long haul. Understanding this helps you build balanced, strong relationships, avoid accidentally taking too much, and strategically invest in others. It recognizes that success is rarely solitary. It's built on mutual support.
Wow. Okay, so we've gone from the tiny detail of a split-second smile delay all the way up to this cosmic relationship scorecard. What a journey through these techniques, from the flooding smile and sticky eyes to grapevine glory, killer compliments, and even that profound tombstone game. It's really a whole toolkit.
It really is, and I think the core message from Leil Lowndes that shines through is that famous idea. People may forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel.
Hmm.
These techniques, when used genuinely, aren't about tricking people. They're about being more intentional, more observant, more empathetic. They give you the tools to make people feel good, feel understood, feel valued. And that ultimately makes you more confident, more connected, and yeah, more influential.
So as you go back into your day, maybe think about this. How many little opportunities for connection are you missing just by being on autopilot? And maybe pick just one little trick from today, just one that you can try out in the next 24 hours. See if you can consciously use it to make someone feel, I don't know, truly seen or heard or just a little bit special. You might be surprised at the ripple effect.